Hello and welcome to Declutter Your Mind. Hello, everybody. Declutter Your Mind, boost focus and achieve more. Or we could almost put a little line through that last bit and boost focus and achieve the important things. We want to try and get the right things done today. We're going to be talking about not just more. Just saw Jade come in. Hi, Jade. Great to see you. One of our regulars. Awesome to have you. And hopefully Bill will join us soon. Looking forward to seeing him. And we've got Laptop. Hello, Laptop. Thank you for joining us. Feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat. Let us know where you're joining us from today. And as the little note just popped up to say this is being recorded, and we will pop it on YouTube for the other people that couldn't make it today. So if you're watching on YouTube as well, you can introduce yourself and in the comments and let us know where you're joining from. Would love to hear what you're looking forward to learning today. Good on you, Karen. No longer Laptop, you're Karen. I love it. Thank you so much for updating your name there. Yeah, looking forward to finding out what would you like to learn today? What is on your mind? And also, let's share tips that are working for you, please. We'd love to hear what does work for you as we are going along. Jade says, hi, Julie, just moved. So I'm all about systems. Yay, good on you. You've been a very good student of ours over the time. So I'm glad you are getting yourself sorted as you've just moved. A great time to do it, Jade. Thank you. All right, let me look at our next screen. Let's get stuck in. As we've just said, this is being recorded. So let us know in the chat. You're welcome to unmute yourself as well and just call out if you would like. Ask any questions as we're going, and would love to know what are you looking forward to learning today, so we can stay focused on that. So my business, Space and Time, I will introduce myself properly in a second, is all about making conscious choices with how we use our space and our time. So we're going to be really looking at sort of our time management more today than our space, but we will talk about a little bit of decluttering as well. So we want to create systems, as Jade was just saying, particularly setting up a new home is a great time to do that. Setting up systems to create a simpler life. So we are not running around like a headless chook or have too much clutter going on in our mind. So looking forward to sharing tips about that today. Let us know what your intention is, because if we have intentions, it's much easier to achieve them if we know what they are. And I'll also let you know how you can continue the decluttering and organizing journey with us after today. So here I am, Julie Cliff. I am a professional organizer and declutter coach based in Melbourne in Australia. Before starting my business in 2015, I was an executive assistant and administrator for 20 years. So helping others get and stay organized in an office environment was what I loved to do. Then I found a group of professional organizers and understood that we could take the skills that you use to run an office well and implement them in the home to help people run their homes well. I now have a team of decluttering experts in Melbourne and Geelong, and my amazing assistant Mary Lou is online with us today as well. I'm married and my husband's at work today, and the two teenagers are in bed because they have a day off today. So our objectives for today was to share some tips to silence the inner chatter that's going on in your mind and creating the clutter, help us improve our focus and get the important stuff done. As I said at the start, it's not about getting more done, it's about getting the important stuff done. So that's what our focus for our workshop is today. So let's have a look at what mental clutter is and what it means to us. So as the first point there says, mental clutter encompasses all those thoughts, worries, and distractions, that clog our mind. So these things that are going round and round and round, and they take up a lot of space in our minds and they make it difficult for us to focus and function, as that second dot point says. And the third one says, think of it as digital clutter on your computer, except it's in your head. So we've just got lots of things going on. And it's difficult for the important stuff to come to the surface if so much is going on in our minds. Sometimes you even find it hard to breathe, can't remember which is left and right. And when we've got lots going on, can't make easy decisions. So let's look at some tips today to help us with that. So some of the effects of mental clutter, and this isn't isn't everything that mental clutter affects, but the things that we are going to look at today is mental clutter reduces our focus. It leads to frequent distractions and mistakes. So, our brain is a little bit elsewhere while we're trying to, do the invoices on Xero or whatever we might be doing. And can, as it says, lead to frequent distractions and mistakes. Increased stress. This can be caused by the overwhelmed mind. As I said, it's all whirring around in there and the important stuff can't get to the surface. Mental clutter leads to decreased productivity. So prioritizing and completing tasks becomes difficult and reduces our productivity. And two more effects of mental clutter that we're going to look at today and find some tips to overcome is mental clutter can lead to poor decision making, makes your mouth not work properly so the words don't come out, and also mental fog makes it hard to weigh up options and reach sound conclusions. So again, your brain is just busy thinking about what's for dinner, I haven't done this, I should be doing that, rather than going with our, a strategic and sequence sort of way of thinking. So our decision making is interrupted, and it can lead to emotional exhaustion. As I said, just got a few things going on myself the last couple of days, lots of things happening at the one time, and you really can feel that it makes you tired. Your body is working overtime, your mind is working overtime, and that can lead to emotional fatigue, irritability, and burnout. So this is something that's really important for all of us to look at our mental clutter so that we can avoid some of these things. Oh, I just lost all the people. Where did they go? Oh, there we are. They're back. So I'm back. Sorry, I accidentally pushed the stop the video button. So looking at the effects of mental clutter that we've just been doing, as I said, we're going to look at sort of the productivity and the focus side of it. But of course, it can affect our relationships, affect our mood and how we get along with other people. We might become not very tolerant. We might get grumpy. It can affect our physical health. There's lots of studies to show that anxiety and depression and overwhelm can be really taxing and take a toll on the body and lead to disease. And also mental clutter can affect our overall quality of life. As we were saying before, if our mind is not working well, if we have poor physical health, if our relationships are not going so well, that can really affect our overall quality of life. So that's why all these things are so important for us to be looking at today, because it can affect more than just the productivity and focus that we're going to be looking at today. So some of the causes of mental clutter that we are going to focus on today are these 5. Again, this is not the only things that that cause mental clutter, but these are some of the things that I see in my clients as I'm doing hands-on decluttering and organizing with my clients, and also some of the things that as a professional organizer we can help you with. The effects of stress and those sorts of things that could also be helped, of course, by professionals. We'll talk about that in a moment. But these are the things that we can help you with as professional organisers, and what we're going to look at today. And that is information overload can lead to mental clutter, unfinished tasks, overcommitting, lack of organization, and negative thought patterns. So we're going to go through each one of these in a bit of detail. So don't forget to let me know as we're going along if any of this resonates you and what it is in particular about your mental clutter that and how it's affecting your life. Please pop it in the chat or take yourself off mute. And also let us know what else, if we're missing the mark, let us know what else you would like to know today. So some of the techniques to silence the clutter can include, and this topic we're looking at is the limit information overload. So information overload can lead to clutter. So how can we limit that overload? And I would highly recommend reducing your exposure to excessive news or social media. I'd give yourself some good boundaries and schedule breaks or even turn off the notifications. I'm very lucky that I have Mary Lou that looks after all of my social media, so I very rarely go on there. Someone will say to me, "Oh, that was a lovely post you wrote." And I said, "Thank you very much. I will let Mary Lou know." Because I just find it is overwhelming to be on social media and see all that stuff. I was talking to my younger son just during the week and asking him about, he uses, looks at TikTok. I think it's TikTok mainly that he looks at, and it's video after song, after video, after special trick, after, there is just so much. I said, "Don't you find that overwhelming?" And he says, "No." So whether that is actually the case or not, but we haven't grown up with that. This is something new, I suppose, that the teenagers may be a little bit more used to, but I think it is very important for us to reduce our exposure to it and set boundaries around it. I do have Facebook on my phone still, but it is 2 screens over. I need to flick through 2 screens to be able to get to it. And all notifications for all of my social media are turned off. And when I'm talking about notifications as well, I'm going to take it one step further. I turn off all notifications for email. Nothing pings or bings when emails come through. I do, of course, get a ping or a bing for text messages and team messages through Google Chat with my team, but I don't want to know when the latest, whoever newsletter is coming through or something that has been released. I'll go and find it when I am ready. I don't want to be interrupted. I don't want to be overwhelmed. Just let me have a quick look at the chat. There's a couple of little messages there. Jade says, "TikTok is too much for me." Yeah. You have to click the exit button about 4 times to exit. That's interesting. They like to keep you in there. Jade says she's turned off all notifications about a year ago, and it was truly a life-changing. I hear you, Jade. It's really liberating. As I said, set times and those boundaries as to when you go and have a look at those some social media. I'm not saying don't ever use it, but maybe you could probably even put a timer on, get your watch or your phone. So because before you know it, you're down a rabbit hole. So limit information overload by reducing our exposure. To continue on limiting information overload, learn to apply a full stop to information gathering or research. I know a lot of my clients I work with, they want to find out everything they can about all the medication they're on or the treatment they're undergoing or the latest wool spinning techniques, whatever their interests are. But again, you can end up in such a rabbit hole and in relation to the medicine and trying to diagnose yourself with Dr. Google, it's really can be detrimental. I would let the experts be the experts. You can certainly learn what you can, so you've got a general understanding about you and your body and any treatments that you might be undergoing, but learn to apply a full stop as far as know when enough information is enough. Otherwise, you can just get too much in your mind, and again, it's spinning around and around. Let the experts be the experts. And we're also going to discuss negative thinking too towards the end of the program. So that will also limit the amount of things that are swirling around in your mind. Let's move on to the next one. So the second cause of mental clutter we're going to look at now is unfinished tasks. So here are a couple of ways we can reduce unfinished tasks. And one of them is stop putting more things on your to-do list. Get it all out of your head. And again, learn to apply a full stop as far as know when to stop. And also stop putting more on your to-do list. We will talk about priorities in a second and how we can decide what is the most important. But we need to make a conscious choice about that. Again, this is a conscious choice about how we use our time and in the way of how we manage our to-do list. So one way to do it, as I just mentioned, is to get all the ideas out of your head. And Mary Lou, have you got the link to the brain dump page there that you could pop in the chat for people? And they could have a look, and you can use just a normal piece of paper, but this is a handy little page, and I'm pretty sure the handout has a few extras on there to help you work through what you have put down as a brain dump. But just sit and write and scribble and just get it out. Don't think, don't worry, don't think it's wrong, don't worry about your spelling. Just write it all out. Get it all out of your head. I know sometimes you might go, oh, whoa, when you get it all written out, that is overwhelming, but at least it's not in your head, and at least we can start to cross some things out. So I would highly recommend a brain dump to reduce the mental clutter by getting it out of your head. And thanks, Mary Lou, for putting that link to that page. You might want to go to the website afterwards, print that off so that you actually have a spot to put your brain dump so you can just get it all out of your head. And so we will have a look in a second, as I said, about prioritizing all those things that we have dumped on the page. So we won't just leave it there. The third cause of mental clutter we're going to have a look at, and some techniques to silence that clutter, is to commit to less. So we want to reduce the responsibilities or tasks to reduce stress and improve focus. Yes, I know that sometimes we are very busy. I know sometimes it can be stressful. I know different times of life can be more busy and more stressful than others. Like if you've got little kids, managing them. I say every time we're talking about time management is one of my least favorite things to do in the world is to put shoes on children. My kids learned very soon to put their own shoes on because I just can't stand it. They've got their leg wiggling everywhere. You're trying to push, their toes are in the wrong direction. So it was one task I was very happy to get off the list early as we're going along when the kids were growing up. But that's a bit of a side note. But thinking about what can we take off of our to-do list? What tasks from that brain dump can we just cross out? As I said, I know different times, like raising kids, putting their shoes on, packing their school bags, and those sorts of things can all be very busy. But there are things we can do to make it less stressful, to get more help, to get more hands on deck. And just quite frankly, we'll talk about in a second as well, say no to things so that we can have less stress if there are less things to do. And that's going to help us have improved focus because we've got less things going around and around in our mind. As I just said, practice saying no. We can just let it go. Just go, nope, not doing that. I might do it next year. I might do it later. It's not really that important. Remember I said at the start of the session that we want to increase getting the important things done, not more things done. So we want to say no to the unimportant things. You might get asked to be the team manager of the kids' footy team. No thanks. You might get asked, can you pick up my dry cleaning today? No thanks. Now, we do say yes as much as we can. We love our families. We love to help them out. We love to help our friends out as well. But sometimes when we are right up to here with too much on, too much stress, too much overwhelm, too much mental clutter, the best thing for us to do is to say no. So you follow your gut and be really clear and say no to what you can. And let it go as well. Let go of the shoulds. I should change the sheets every week. I should clean the bathroom every week. I should go to all of my daughter's ballet practice. What is going to work for you and your family right now in your circumstances with everything else that you got going on, and follow that. I've just finished listening to a wonderful book by Martha Beck called The Way of Integrity, and she talks about this a lot. Martha Beck, The Way of Integrity, and she let go of many things, including friends and family, because they were going right against how she really thought she should be how she wanted to live her life. So check that one out as well. But let go of all those shoulds and make it ready and relevant for you right now. And that last dot point there says, give yourself permission to put yourself first. Because you are no good to anybody if you are unwell, if you're burnt out, if you've driven yourself to the ground. So practice saying no, let go of those shoulds, and put yourself first, so that we can reduce the amount of negative thought and thoughts that are really going against what your gut thinks you, how you want to live your life. It can really be very helpful. So going back to that brain dump that we did before, I really want you to cross off as many of those things off the brain dump as you can. I want to ask yourself these questions here and see what you can absolutely get rid of and what you can outsource, automate, or delegate. So which of these tasks, that maybe some of them still absolutely need to be done. We do need to do the washing. We do need to mow the lawn. Somebody else might be able to do it. We do need to eat food. We do need to sleep. So there are absolutely some things to do. But can the kids do them? Can your spouse or partner do them? Can your neighbours, your friends, co-workers, or somebody else help you out with them? Or can you pay somebody to do them? What can you outsource, automate, or delegate? And as I've said a number of times already during the session, are there things you can say no to and just cross it off the list? That is my favorite thing to do with clients once we get that brain dump done. Just, no, not going to do that. Don't need to. It's not going to move me towards my goals. It's actually contributing to more stress and overwhelm. So if you declutter unimportant tasks from your calendar so you can free up more time for activities of your choice, and lead you towards living the life that you want to live. So that was all about overcommitting. So some of those things I hope will help you reduce overcommitting. This next point, techniques to silence the chatter, is talking about improving organisation, because lack of organisation can lead to mental clutter. So what I want you to do is have a really good think about setting priorities, and that was what that crossing things off the list was all about, and finding those important tasks. What do you want to work on this year? Is your health important? Is your wealth important? Is your happiness important? What are your priorities for today, tomorrow, the rest of the year, so that we can set our tasks towards those priorities. Also want to create a regular routine. I'll talk a bit more about that in a second, and get clear on your goals. I'm going to show you a great way to do that, going from that mental dump, the brain dump that we just did, we can then put those important things that we did keep on our list into a focus board. We'll have a look at that in a moment. But to even help us further in relation to priority setting and looking at that brain dump list, we can go through even with the things that we still have on the list, the ones that we haven't crossed off yet. Does it take me closer to my goal? Does it take me, does it help me with those goals? We'll talk a little bit more, some goals in a second, whatever they might be. It might be whatever. We'd love to hear what goals are you working on this year? Pop it in the chat and let me know. Another question you can ask yourself as you're going through that brain dump list is, does this lighten my mental load? You know, is it something that's always on your mind? I've got a box of new uniforms here beside me for my team, and I have to step over it every day to get to my desk. I need to go and deliver those new uniforms, and that will greatly lighten my mental load. It's an unfinished task. So I need to work on that in the next week, so I don't have to think about it and step over the box anymore. Which of these tasks from that brain dump will give me the highest payoff and make me the most money? That's not always relevant, but of course, me running my own business, it's like, will I run an ad on Facebook, or will I write another social media post? Will I do a letterbox flyer? Which one will make me the most money? But you might have some other ways of looking at the highest payoff for you and your family by asking yourself that question. And the last dot point is there, if today I could only do 3 or 4 tasks of value that would have a real impact, what would they be? So I would love to hear from you when you're setting your priorities. What are you not going to do? What have you already crossed off your list? And have you felt that lightening of the mental load and the mental chatter? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the chat. A few more things. Is that the same list? We already did that. My apologies. That's a double up, but let's reiterate it. What can you outsource, automate, and delegate? What can you give to your kids, partner, neighbors, family? What can you say no to? And a part of the increasing your organization to reduce mental clutter is to create a regular routine. I can't live without my electronic diary, Google Calendar, and all of my team members have a calendar that I have access to see all of the clients they're visiting each day. So that's just their work diary. Couldn't live without it. I put all my tasks in there. This morning I had to duck off around the corner to prepare for my client that I'm seeing straight after this session. So I have already been around there this morning. I also had to do a few other admin tasks. So it was all lined up in my calendar, just like this daily planner. These are half-hour increments. And I think that's a great way to just start plugging in tasks. So this is a great way to create a regular routine. So you can, of course, have a personal version of this as well and put the time to get up in the morning, the time to go to bed at night, because sleep is so important. Set a reminder to go to bed so that you're not, stuck in the middle of Netflix. But use these notifications if you're using an online version so that your calendar can hold the information for you and remind you rather of it being in your mind. A lot of people just set a timer as well, or set an alarm. If you set an alarm, put a name with it rather than just have it go off at 10 o'clock. You might not remember what it's for. I'll never forget when I was young watching Sesame Street growing up, and Ernie had all these pieces of string tied to his fingers because this one was reminding something and this one was to remind him to remind himself of that reminder. And by the end of it, he had no idea what the piece of string was for. So I think an online calendar or your alarm on your phone that pops and bings and reminds you is much better than a piece of string on the end of your finger. If you use a paper diary, refer to it often, and write yourself notes ahead of time. So if you've got a doctor's appointment in 3 days' time, you might say, gather the information that you need for the specialist, do some research as to what time you need to leave to go to that appointment. So you could have those little prompts ahead of time, not just as you're trying to walk out the door to the appointment. So you can use your paper diary in a very similar way. So who here uses a paper diary and who uses an electronic diary or calendar? Let me know. Let's have a look at the chat. Somebody's written something. Yes, Mary Lou, thank you. She's written the weekly planner, which is this next page. Karen uses a spreadsheet. That's very interesting. But I knew that helps you keep your day sorted. I like it. Thank you for sharing. So Mary Lou just shared this weekly planner page. So just like that previous page, you can plan out your whole week here on this page. You can grab it from the website, print out 10 copies and plot out your day. As I said, time to get up, time to go to bed, everything else in between. Remembering we only have 168 hours in a week. So create the regular routine. And being regular, I would have some things in there that are at regular time slots. Getting up in the morning and go to bed at night is best to have at a regular time. Your body really does learn how to adapt to a regular routine like that. Maybe your meals might be at regular times. Maybe your decluttering might be, a couple of times a week at the same time, just to help it in your mind. And again, having things written down on paper as to when you're going to do it. You can also schedule time for worry time. Like, I'm not going to worry about that appointment that's coming up or that presentation that's coming up until Thursday afternoon. I've got time in my diary. I'm going to allocate. I'm going to sit and focus on that regular, on that time for that particular task. So it can really help clear up your mental clutter if you've got things written down and a time to do it. And of course, the next thing is to actually do it when you've written down the time. Jade says she likes a notebook, an appointment, an hourly calendar, and phone alarms. Yep, Jade, great idea to use all of those to keep you sorted when you have got a lot going on. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else want to let us know how you try to keep yourself organized and keep the mental clutter at bay? So we are talking about improving our organization to help us with our mental clutter. And one great way to do that is to create yourself a focus board so you can get clear on the priorities that you have for the year. This is way too many. This is my focus board for 2023. I've redone this not very recently, but it only has about 4 things to look at a time. But this is much less than the hundreds of things we often think that we want to do. So Mary Lou, if you've got the link to the focus board workshop recording, thank you for sharing that. If you haven't done the focus board workshop with us, have a look at it, get some colored pencils, paper, textures, scissors, glue, piece of paper, and have a look at that, and we'll help you get clear on your goals by putting it in this nice, simple focus board so that you can just say, these are all I'm working on this year, and these are my goals and priorities. So the idea is take all the lots of ideas like we had with the brain dump on the left, all these jiggly ideas all in a big mess, and then come up with a nice, simple, colourful display on the right, much more ordered and much less sort of noise going on in our minds once that's sorted. And that will make it much easier. If you've got that focus board set up, much easier to say no to new things that come across. It's very easy to get distracted, like I said, about going down rabbit holes on social media and those sorts of things. It's much easier to have your focus board, and if something new comes across your someone offers you, you can easily say, no, it's not on my focus board at the moment, so I won't be doing that at the moment. But if you really wanted to do it, you could probably swap this new shiny object with something that you had on your focus board. Rather than add something else, you can swap it out. So this is a great way to not be distracted by new ideas and reduce the mental clutter, because you've got that focus board nicely set out, like we had on that previous page, to help you say no to things that are coming across. So we were talking about increased organisation, and here are some additional ways to stay focused and help you stay organised. We talked about using reminders on our phones and in our online calendars. You can also change your phone lock screen to remind you to stay focused. Mine just has a nice gum tree at the moment. Go away, you. Just one moment, I'll show you in a sec. Go away. I've got some other things popping up. I've got a nice gum tree. Oh, no, you can't see it. It's not going to let you. Oh, there's a gum tree. But you can change your lock screen very easily, and I have had in the past to, just something as simple as whatever your main priority for the year is. I can't see it. This one says growth. How can I? No, there it is. This is a disc that says growth. Sorry, you can't see it, but you can very easily change your locked screen so that every time you touch your phone, it reminds you of the most important thing that you are staying focused on. So all of these things to help us stay focused will reduce that mental clutter, the things that are flying around. It's like, I don't need to think about that because I know, and I've had a good think about it, and I know these things are important to me. And also know yourself. Choose the time of day that works well for you to work on your priorities, work on your, even to work on your focus and your mental health as well. It might be earlier in the morning, it might be a little bit later in the day. Hopefully it's not in the middle of the night. I hope you're not doing too much. I hope you're sleeping. But choose the right time for you to be working on these things, with ebb and flow with your energy level. So some of these things to stay focused on the important tasks that we have decided by setting our priorities and our goals, by going from that brain dump, asking those questions, delegating, and then putting them on a focus board can all be helpful to reduce the mental clutter, because we are now really clear on what we want to do with our time. So the last point that we wanted to talk about when we were talking about our causes of mental clutter, the last one was negative thought patterns. So to improve negative thought, no, we don't want to improve, we want to have better thought patterns. Not quite written correctly there, I did that wrongly. So it should be improve happy thought patterns, not negative, or reduce negative thought patterns. First one is to be present. So the old saying of when you're doing the dishes, do the dishes. So you're being mindful, you're standing at the sink, you've got your hands in the hot water, you might have gloves on, and you are washing the dish. You've got the cloth, you're washing the dish, you're turning it over, you're washing it again. You might be rinsing it off in this other sink of rinse water, but you are being present, you are washing the dishes. You're not thinking about what's for dinner, that how sick your dad is, that you need to go for a run, that you're feeling overweight, that you're feeling overwhelmed. We are being present. Whatever we are doing, we are right there. At the moment, I'm here, I'm talking to you guys, I'm trying to be as present as I can. Occasionally something might distract me, but I'm really trying to be present, and all I'm doing at the moment is presenting to you. I'm being present, presenting. So to continue to improve our thought patterns, mindfulness and meditation are a similar thing to being present, but not 100%. But they are very important things to be doing. Just sitting in quiet contemplation, letting the thoughts come in and go out of your mind. We're not trying to stop the thoughts. We're just letting them come in and letting them go out. And I use this technique as I'm heading to sleep. And it is probably something that I've taught myself over time, because some people might get overwhelmed with and have difficulties falling asleep with lots of things on their mind. But I just let them come in. Oh, that's right. I did that today. And off it goes again. So that's what meditation can be. And you can do it in lots of different ways, sitting down with a program, or an app, or you can do it, as I was just saying, sitting quietly, letting the thoughts come and go. And it's really interesting to see what surfaces while you're sitting and doing that. Again, it's taken me time. I never had the ability to sit and do that. It was like, I need to keep going. But it's very beneficial, as I said, to see those important things. It's like, oh, yeah, that's right. I need to call my dad for his birthday, which means I need to call my mum as well, because their birthdays are on the same day. But, the important thoughts will rise. Other ways to improve our thought patterns, breathing exercises for relaxation, also journaling, like that brain dump. Just get your thoughts out of your mind. I have a journaling app called One Day. Is it called One Day? No, Day One. I always get that round the wrong way. Day One. So I write down ideas. I might put a picture in there, what's on my mind. Just, again, getting it out of your mind to somewhere else to just capture it. So journaling for mental clarity can be done, can be great. And also that last dot point I just put on there, do something fun. Just get out, go for a walk, go for a jog. You might not find that fun, but the endorphins make it fun. Sit in the sun, look at a tree, look at a bird, listen to the kids laughing at the school across the road. Get out and about and do something fun to help improve your thought patterns and reduce those thoughts that are going round and round, because you are adding some fun things to your mind rather than letting the thoughts continue to go around and around. There's some additional ways to include your thought patterns, which reduce your negative thought patterns, is to seek support. So you might confide in a friend or a family or even a professional if you feel that this mental clutter and chatter is just getting way too much and it's been going on for too long. Please seek some help from anybody. It's as easy as saying, I don't feel good. I just don't feel right. Reach out to a friend, a family, lifeline, as I said, or a professional, your doctor, somebody like that, to be able to help you out if these thought patterns continue for too long. And too long might only be a couple of days. If you're not feeling very well and they are thoughts that might be harmful to you, make sure you're calling out for some help. And we can also add positive affirmations to our mind to reduce that negative self-talk. There's some great ones on YouTube that I look up, and there are apps as well like Calm that help you with meditation, but it also has some great affirmations as well. I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am wise, I am an amazing person, I am a great mum. And if you're thinking all these positive things, there's less room for that mental clutter and the mental chatter to be in your mind. Again, some of those things might take a little while to listen to and for them to sink in, because the old ones have been rattling around in there for a while, but highly recommend some of these things to improve our thought patterns and reduce the negative thoughts. So our key takeaways, we've got a little bit of time, we might be able to have some questions as we go along as well when we're finishing. Key takeaways for today, would love to hear what your aha moments have been today. What's been the thing that you've gone, oh, Yeah, that's a good one. I haven't thought about that. Please share with me in the chat. The key takeaways are mental clutter is real, very common, very normal thing, been happening forever, and probably even more so, as I said, with all the digital hoo-ha that we are surrounded with each and every day. Declutter for focus and productivity. That's been our main aim today, looking at how we can become more focused by looking at just those key tasks and important tasks that we want to do, not just doing more stuff. It's focusing on and achieving the things that we want to move towards. And also, we've also looked at different tools and techniques to help us today. So I hope that with regular practice of the mindfulness techniques that we spoke about, consistent review of your goals and priorities with some of these techniques today, and establishing boundaries to maintain a work-life balance, I'm hoping and expecting, and I believe you will have less clutter in your mind because you've had a little bit more structure that we've put in place. We're really quite focused on what we're doing. We've got some good goals and we let go of all of those woulds and shoulds. So I'm hoping that mental clarity will improve with some of these techniques. Our next get together in a fortnight, 2 weeks' time, is simplify your life and make room for what matters. So we're looking forward to sharing those tips and techniques with you. Same time, 10 o'clock Melbourne time, 10 a.m., 23rd of May. Looking forward to seeing you there. Let's have a look at questions. I'm going to stop my share. I'm going to have a look at chat. And feel free to take yourself off mute if you've got any questions you want to ask. Thanks, Mary Lou, for putting the focus board workshop from YouTube on there. So that was one of our previous recordings for the focus board. So if you'd like to create yourself a nice, clear idea of what you're working towards, have a look at that. The next workshop, Simplify Your Life and Make Room for What Matters. The link there is to register. It's already sold out. Okay, thank you. That's very exciting. So no need to register. Just copy that Zoom link there that Mary Lou has put on there. Thank you. So lots of people are interested in that one. Interested to see how many turn up on the day. So as I said, you won't need to register. Just grab that and copy that Zoom link. Put it in your calendar for this same time, 10 o'clock Melbourne time on the 23rd of May. All right, does anybody else have any questions or comments? What was the best thing of the day? Either unmute yourself or pop it in the chat. I think I am feeling better. I think I'm feeling calmer, and I think part of that is that I was happy to do this workshop for you. This is a new workshop for us. I didn't mention that before. We haven't run this one before, so we'd love to hear your thoughts as well on it. Did I miss anything? Should we add something else next time? Can we talk more about something? Let us know. But I'm feeling a bit lighter now that we've done it. It can be sometimes a little bit overwhelming and daunting to do a new workshop that you've never done before. So I appreciate again that you coming along and hope it was helpful. If there's no other further questions, we might wrap up. We might go on and keep working on that list of things, finding those important things, saying no to the things we don't need to do. And thank you. I appreciate you all being here and look forward to seeing you at the next one. Thanks all so much. Bye for now.
Thanks, Julie. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Mary Lou. Bye, guys.